Hello everyone, factoring into today's video, we're going to have a look at the weather for next week, 10 days. For today's video, that takes around the 7th of May. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM Ensemble. So we'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That'll take us well into the second half of May, of course. So it was a busy weekend of updates. We had the second summer 2020 season model roundup, as yesterday's first video up, and as well as that Gauss Weather Study roundup, and we did a live stream on the YouTube channel. Next scheduled live stream will be between 4 and 5 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. I've already created the video for that, so set a reminder. And then you won't miss it. Of course, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you'll be notified when we start going live. Anyway, right, so first thing I'm going to do is say a big thank you to our latest channel member. So our latest YouTube channel, last week we started opening the channel up to YouTube channel membership. YouTube gave us that opportunity. And so our latest YouTube channel member is Philip. Philip has become our latest YouTube channel member. Big thank you, Philip, for doing that. If you would like to become a Gazzo's YouTube channel member, all you need to do is click the join button you see here on the YouTube homepage, or with the videos on YouTube. And that will take you through to another page, and there you can set up your membership. And also, if you can't see the join buttons, a few people have said they can't when they're on mobile and tablet devices, then the workaround is to use a link that is in the description with the videos at YouTube. You can also get to the join page via gazweathers.com on the homepage. There's a link there as well. So it's relatively straightforward to be able to sign up and become a Gazzo's YouTube channel member. Big thank you to all of our YouTube members so far. I've only had this for a few days and we've got over 10 members now. So big thank you to all of our YouTube channel members. That's absolutely great. And thanks so much to Matt. And special thank you, of course, to our latest channel member, Philip. Thank you so much, Philip, for that. Right, moving on video, and we're going to start off with central temperature back up to 11 degrees. Look at this, CET provisional up to yesterday, 26th of April, standing at 11 degrees. That's 3.2 degrees above average. It's been a very warm April. That's about as high as it's going to get. It's not going to get much higher than that, I don't think. It will probably tick down a little bit, actually, in the final days of the month. So, as I explained, I think it was in Saturday's video, was it? I think we're probably going to finish up around 10.5 to 10.7, something like that, maybe 10.3. So it'll be in that sort of area. We're going to be in the 10s anyway. We'll be one of the warmest. Aprils on record. There's no doubt about that. It's not going to be the warmest. It's not going to be April 2011, which came in at 11.8. There's no chance that we can beat April 2011. So that record still holds. But it's certainly going to be up there with like the warmest Aprils that we've had within the CET record. The only question is exactly what the finishing number will be. But it is all changed as we move through the next few days. Things are going to be turning a lot cooler, and we're also going to be turning much more unsettled as well. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University for the next week, 10 days, with the ECMWF on the top and the GFS, which I'll in a moment, on the bottom. So 500 millibars is now in the atmosphere. High pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red and orange extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. You can see that in the 7 to 10 day time frame, which takes us more or less to the end of the first week of May now. We have with ECM a ridge of above average heights across southern Europe up to central parts of Europe, with low pressure around here in the 500 millibar flow, and another deep trough over in northern east parts of America. Jet stream is going to be doing something a bit like that, and it pulls the winds up from like a southerly, southwesterly, southerly direction. So the ECM around days 7, 8, 9, 10, I'll show it in a moment. ECM at around days 7, 8, 9, 10 does actually turn very warm. We start to import some real heat actually up from France. Probably volatile though, probably sparking off heavy showers, maybe thunderstorms too. The GFS is very similar. So again, there's that ridge, but it's a bit further away from us. It is through the central Med and more towards central eastern parts of Europe. Low pressure is closer to us, bit of blocking up here as well, by the way. So more of an Atlantic influence with the GFS means it's not quite as warm in the day 7 to 10 time frame, and it is quite unsettled here. The main storyline, I think, going through the next few days is definitely going to be much more unsettled than we've had for a long time. So we see this on the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Looking at Telford in Shropshire today. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Telford. And you see temperatures are on the slide now. They've already cooled down today compared to what it was yesterday. Yesterday cooled down a bit compared to like Saturday. And so temperatures are already on a downwards curve. They're going to continue to fall away through the rest of this week. So through the middle and second half of the week actually becoming a little bit colder on average. There's the tick up that might happen, let's say around the 5th of May, something like that. We may import some warmth from the south. If we do, it's likely to spark off heavy downpours though. And then moving further on to the end of the first week of May, into the second week of May, heading up almost the middle part of the month, then we see a lot of scatter. We've got these warm ensemble members just here, a massive warm outlier up there, by the way, going off the scale. Not sure what's happening with that one, but that's a really big warm outlier. These ones down here are cooler ensemble members. So as we move into the second week of May, we do see quite a lot of uncertainty from a temperature perspective. So I think that's just due to the positioning of areas of low pressure, the exact track of low pressure though. So if those low pressure are able to pull up some warmth from the south, then we will import some higher temperatures. But of course, with low pressure overall being the main driver of the weather, that is likely to be unsettled. Precipitation wise, lots of rainfall spikes coming up over the next few days. There they all are. So it looks as though we're ending this exceptionally dry April on a wet note, at least in Telford, and that's going to be pretty indicative for most parts of the country. And that carries on through the opening days of May as well. Later on, we may find that the rain just eases down a little bit, but even then it looks quite unsettled, really, even as we move on into the second week of May. So this is going to be a very significant pattern change that is underway. I mean, this pattern change actually started over the weekend. It's continuing today. There's still not much rain around today, but we're going to see ever more outbreaks of rain over the coming days, and this is a very, very significant pattern change that we're currently going through. Temperature anomalies from the 27th of April to the 5th of May are very close to, or maybe slightly below average. Precipitation anomalies from the 27th of April to the 5th of May are slightly above average, or wetter than average week coming up, something that we haven't had for quite some time. So again, this is a very significant pattern change that is underway. So that's how the GFS is looking for Thursday, the last day of April. And as I say, it's been an exceptionally dry April, and also exceptionally high pressure dominated. But look at that, we end this exceptionally dry and high pressure dominated April under a deep area of low pressure. So obviously we're going to be seeing showers, if not longer spells of rain, on Thursday and into Friday. Might get a brief little weather window, but probably not for long. The next low is coming in there as we move through into the weekend. Sunday starts to we begin to shift, or try to shift round more towards the south. So this is warmth that's pushing up out of Spain and the Med, trying to move northwards. But of course, it's all very, very unstable with all of this low pressure to our west. So sort of any warmth that's trying to push up from southern Europe is just likely to fuel those low pressure. That's exactly what the GFS does, actually. This is Monday, the 4th of May, a week away. And all that's happened is that the warmth pushing up from Spain and the Med has just developed this area of low pressure just here. So the upshot of that warmth pushing northwards out of southern Europe is just to develop the low pressure, blow it up a bit, and yes, we may see a bit of an increase in temperature from Sunday through to Monday, probably an increase in humidity, but also an increase in rainfall is likely, and possibly some quite strong winds are wrapped around that low pressure as well. Moving up towards day 10, that low pressure then moves away to our east, and some higher pressure begins to try and build in from the northwest. So this is Thursday, the 7th of May. High pressure out to the north and west of us. So turning a bit drier, but it is cool. Winds coming around the top of this high pressure from a northeasterly direction, so it will be quite cool, but maybe getting a bit drier there. Heading into the extended range, the high pressure starts to move northward, so it begins to hint at becoming something of a northern blocking feature. with low pressure again starting to tuck in from both west and from the south. So overall, we finish up with this GFS run, which is on Wednesday the 13th of May, gets us to Wednesday the 13th of May. We're finishing up overall still in an unsettled pattern. So maybe going a little bit drier there towards the end of the first week of May, but not long before we bring more rain in from the south and from the west. Temperatures staying quite cool overall, I think. GM looks like that. So again, Thursday, last day of April, is unsettled with low pressure in control of the weather, and we bring more low pressure in from the Atlantic through to the weekend. Even less of a southerly influence with the GM at the end of the weekend and start of next week compared to what GFS was showing. So this just keeps us cool and unsettled, really. Then moving up towards day 10, well, then we start to try and get a little bit of a ridge going from the Azores high. Looks quite flimsy, but by around the 7th of May, we might be starting to see something a little bit drier beginning to appear. And then we've got the ECM WL, so just going to scroll you back there. So let's see where we are. There we go. So we've got Thursday, 30th of May. And again, low pressure is dominating. So unsettled showers along with spells of rain as we move into the second half of the week. Then move through into weekend, and again we continue to look quite unsettled over the weekend with no low pressure never too far away. But early next week you start to get a little bit more of a ridge developing across France. We saw it on the 500 millibar high dominant flow chart, and that starts to allow some real warmth to start pushing northwards from Spain and the southern Med. It is all quite unstable though. Again, we've got this low pressure around Biscay to the west of Portugal, and got this warm, maybe even quite hot, sort of southerly winds on the eastern side of that low. There's the upper air temperature. Now, this is a real surge of heat coming out of North Africa and Spain into France. We're just on the periphery of it, but you can see the 20 Celsius isotherm there is moving through the Bay of Biscay into France, and that is only on the 5th of May. I'm sure that must be a hot outlier from the ECM to see the 20 Celsius isotherm that far north in the early part of May is really quite incredible, and I'm sure that's a bit of a hot outlier. But anyway, we're on the periphery of that heat that's pushing out of France, but it is all very unstable. So this is Wednesday, 6th of May, going up towards day 10. And we've got low pressure both to our southwest and to our south, so there would be the risk of heavy showers, probably thunderstorms, actually down across southern parts of the country. North does look drier, close to the ridge of high pressure over Scandinavia. We are importing some really quite warm upper air temperatures, so the 10 Celsius isotherm is through much of the southeast, the 15 Celsius isotherm is knocking on the door of southeastern England. So probably enough if someone's to come out with that to get temperatures into the mid 20 Celsius, maybe even to the upper 20s Celsius. But it is, I have to emphasise, it is volatile, and there will be heavy showers and probably thunderstorms associated with it. We finish up at day 10 looking like that, unsettled low pressure sitting across England and Wales that would bring showers along with spells of rain. I think the ECM is a bit of a hot outlier today, especially for like Spain, France, probably Germany, low countries. I think the ECM would be quite a hot outlier for those areas. This is the precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. Fair amount of dry mode there, though not completely dry. A few showery bursts around, but it's really tonight that the rain pushes up from France into southern parts of England and Wales, and then that takes us into tomorrow morning, giving a wet whole morning for much of England and Wales. Outbreaks of persistent and heavy rain. Be cold as well under that rain. Temperatures will barely get into double digits where we've got that pouring rain through like Wales and Midlands, those sort of areas. At 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow, still quite wet even then. So we've got a day of rain for much of England and Wales. Not getting up to Scotland and Northern Ireland though. The rain clears away overnight Tuesday to Wednesday, but then on Wednesday we bring more wet weather in, this time from off the Atlantic Ocean. And further showers, if not longer spells of rain following that as we go through into Thursday. Notice all the time wet weather is focused on England and Wales, much less so for Northern Ireland and for Scotland. Through to the end of the week and weekend, we've got further showers, if not longer spells of rain, coming and going. And then moving to the early part of next week, and winds begin to shift round to the south. So as we start to pull up that warmer air from the south, but it's not dry. Low pressure is still involved with this. So all that's happening really is that the warmth is triggering more heavy showers or maybe thunderstorms. It's persistently wet here across much of southern England. As we go through to the early part of next week, for example. And that, as moving up towards day 10, this is the 6th of May, that's indicating thunderstorms there, I think, through parts of the Midlands into southeastern England. Again, all being triggered by the low pressure combining with the warmth that's surging out of France. So this could be a very warm but also very wet spell that we have here around the 5th and the 6th of May. And that's how we finish up at day 10. So still pouring with rain, particularly across eastern parts of the country. So very significant wet weather being indicated here from the ECM as we move through the opening days of May. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. It gets us to the 7th of May. We have 15 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and the operational run, that have high pressure away to our northwest, but a trough of low pressure is through here. And so, excuse me, what that would do is that it will bring up the winds from the south, so it is quite warm, but the low pressure towards south-southwest will keep us quite unsettled. This option 14 there, just has us under low pressure, so yes, that's to be really unsettled. And probably quite cool as well with that option. 12 members just here have the ridge out to our west, trough of low pressure through Scandinavia, winds with that one. Probably going to be coming from a northwest direction. That's a bit drier, but quite cool. And then 10 with high pressure to the east, probably bringing up some quite warm air from the south. But again, I would suspect showers or longer spells of rain are still involved with that. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 12th of May. 20 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure over to the south of the country. Going to be very unsettled, of course. 16 with low pressure to our east, so bring down cool northerly winds. And 15 with low pressure over Scandinavia, high pressure in middle of the Atlantic, winds are kind of northwesterly with that. That could be the driest option, but would be a bit on the cool side. Still looks rather unsettled even into the second week of May, I have to say. Finally, the CFSV2, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period will take us from the 27th of April to the 3rd of May. The coming week, as we've already established, is unsettled, lots of low pressure coming through, so all change. Week 2 is going to be, if I can get the highlighter working, week 2 is going to be before to the 10th of May, low pressure out to the southwest of us, high pressure up towards Greenland, and there's a ridge that's across sort of southern Europe there. That's trying to draw up warmer air from the south, but the low pressure still keeping us quite unsettled. Then week 3 also looks unsettled. This is the 11th to 17th of May. Trough of low pressure then sitting over to the eastern country. Winds are in from the north, so that's a cool and unsettled week again. And then finally, week 4 is the 18th to 24th of May with higher pressure out to the northwest. Possibly turning a bit dry, but temperatures will be still quite cool, I reckon, with winds in from the southwest. Temperature anomalies in the week ahead with CFSV2 from the 27th of April to the 3rd of May. Overall average to slightly below average. Week 2 temperature anomalies from the 4th to the 10th of May. Overall average to slightly above average, but not a big deviation in either week. Week 3 goes definitively colder than average. This will be 11th to the 17th of May, substantially below average temperatures then, and we keep those below average temperatures into week 4, which is the 18th to the 24th of May, continuing to be cooler than average. Precipitation anomalies for week 1 from CFSV2 from the 27th of April to the 3rd of May. A little bit wetter than average, especially so for more southern parts of the country. All areas look wetter than average in week 2. 4th to the 10th of May, above average precipitation then. Week 3 hints at being a bit on the wetter than average side again. That's the 11th to the 17th of May, especially again for England and Wales. Week 4, really weak signals by this point, but possibly by week 4, 18th to 24th of May, just going a little bit drier out to our northwest. So the indications for May continue to look rather mixed, I have to say. It's not a particularly good outlook for May. Very, very different compared to what I've had through April. A huge contrast between the 2 months, which is quite unusual to get it so stark as this, but it definitely looks like May is shaping up to be really unsettled, potentially often quite wet, and also relatively cool, certainly through the first half of the month. And the rain is particularly focused on England and Wales, interestingly, a little bit less so for Scotland and Northern Ireland, but even there will be some rain at times. Right, so that's it for your video for today. Now, we're going to be back tomorrow with another week 10-day video update. We'll also have the ECMWF 30-day look ahead tomorrow for the UK and the rest of Europe too. So come back for those videos then. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.